Now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day committed to being your consumer advocate, always helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Save our hotline number. We love the engagement factor. Folks have been reaching out, calling the hotline, and that's what it's all about. That's what we want to do is we want to serve the community, help you with your buying decisions, make you more street smart, and also be a super connector and put you in touch with all of our 40-plus show partners, 80 different categories of consumer advocate content and advice that we help you with here on the show. 813-917-1894. You can call or text the show hotline, 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Call the hotline and also check out consumerqb.com for links there to all of our expert contributors. We've got a great lineup for you today. Greg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay. We'd like to bring on contractors because they talk about different things affecting consumers, consumer advocate content, best practices, things to do, things to avoid as well. We got Michael Watkins as well. He's a published author, and he's author of the 401k Revival. He's an investment advisor representative, and he is an expert with things relating to investments. And we're going to ask him what's going on with the stock market right now, what's real, what's the real effects with inflation, and we're going to dive into that. And we also have DIANE VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage, regional manager of a number 3 lender in the country, a top 3 lender in the country, and a wealth of knowledge and information around all things mortgage and finance. So we're going to talk to DIANE. And an interesting story as well we're going to jump into. 16% of all Florida homes purchased were in 2021 were in Tampa. So 16% of all Florida homes purchased in Tampa were in Tampa out of the entire state. So that's pretty cool. And the total volume, by the way, was 350,000 homes for $177 billion in purchases. So Florida real estate is literally on fire here in Tampa Bay, hot market here in the marketplace. So we like to feature our real estate listings so we help our sellers profit more and maximize the exposure here in Tampa Bay. We got some hot properties. 5014 Pompano. This is a beautiful property that we have. It's waterfront. You've got your own private boat dock with lift. You got a private backyard and pool. Access to the bay. Bring your boats and jet skis to 5014 Pompano. Now, this is a almost 1,700 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, beautiful home, completely renovated, updated. It's got the beautiful granite, the lighter color cabinetry, and it's just a beautiful property. You got an open house going on this weekend as well. 5014 Pompano Drive in Newport Richey. Check out the beautiful aerial photography compliments of Fabre Frameworks as well. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
And this segment is brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions, our friends over at Replenish IV Solutions. I go in at least once a month. The nursing staff is so nice. They hook me up with a vitamin infusion drip, putting all those vitamins into my body, boosting my immunity, and making me even less fearful than I already am, not fearful of COVID and these other factors out there. So go visit our friends, Stephen and Lisa Gunnan, over at Replenish IV Solutions, and let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, let's go to the phone lines. DIANE VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage. How are you, DIANE?
I'm awesome, Brandon. How are you doing?
Blessed and highly favored.
Today.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
There
you heard me tease that story. 16% of all Florida homes purchased in 2021 were in Tampa. Pretty cool.
Yeah, well, we have a lot going on in Tampa. There's a lot of different areas that are, Tampa and Pinellas and all over. I mean, we're getting a lot of companies moving here, and let's face it. I mean, where else can you go that you have this great of a? I mean, you got everything here. So, you got everything that you could want. You got the airport closed. You got the beaches, everything right here.
Yeah.
Within driving distance. If you want to go to Disney, you go to Disney. It's only 2 hours away, hour and a half. So. Yeah, it's a great place, and I can believe it because I can tell you that we had our best year ever last year because there are so many people moving to Florida.
Yeah, that's right. And you notice that blue state to red state migration. People are coming down. They want freedom as well. I think that played a big role of it as far as the lockdowns went. And we actually gained another congressional U.S. House district as well with all that movement. The volume was unbelievable. 350,000 homes purchased, a market volume of 177 billion, and that was up 50 billion from 2020, according to data from Florida Realtors.
Wow, that's a big change.
Yep.
Big change.
Really
That's
cool.
Awesome,
so, and that's just saying Tampa. That doesn't even get into Tampa Bay, which includes Palm Harbor. Sometimes some folks even stretch it down to Bradenton, Sarasota, Clearwater, of course,
Pasco County,
Pasco,
them,
Hernando.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a big market, and I can believe it because I've had a ton of people. The big thing is they're able to work remote now, so people aren't so fearful and not feeling like they have to stay wherever their job is. So now they can move somewhere else and still work at their same position. That tends to be not so much people are, but if they want to have a new job, I mean, there's plenty of jobs available, right? So we see help wanted signs all the time. So unemployment is very low. So people can pick and choose now. It's up to them.
Yeah, they sure can. And something else that's interesting is an analysis by a real estate company said that at the end of Q3 2021, 25% of the homes bought in Tampa were purchased by investors, not residents, from the second quarter. So then that kind of gets me going down that bunny trail. Sometimes I go down and talking about these hedge funds and these buyers that are trying to basically make America into a renting. They don't want us to own personal property. In other words, real estate either. They don't want us to own. They'd rather us be renters. And I hate to see that for America.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think home ownership is stable. It's stable for the family, and it's stable all the way around for employers to have employees that are, somewhere stable where they can actually, feel comfortable. I personally think it should be. I mean, why are the hedge fund companies purchasing so many properties? Because they know it's a good buy in Florida, and they're planning on probably flipping them one day.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of them, I think, they'll renovate and rent. They'll run the rents up. They'll build it up over the next 5-10 years, and then at some point, they'll see maybe a potential downturn at some point in the future. Who knows? Right now, too, with this Ukraine talk and Russia and China with Taiwan, who knows what would happen if we were to go into, God forbid, a war. There's so many war hawks and that uniparty that loves to go to war. We don't want to. We don't. And by the way, if we did go to war, over I think the large percentage, I think it's 68% or close to 70-something percent is from the southern states. These folks that are a lot more involved in the military. It's from a lot of the southern states that would actually be in the overwhelming numbers that would be in the military being sent overseas. So we don't want to see that. Hopefully these war hawks don't get us into another war. And Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage here, DianeVance.com. Diane, what else are you seeing out there? Great time for renters also to get off the fence and get into home ownership for sure.
Absolutely. It is. So if you need to really buy now. If you're thinking about buying, you get your tax return back, whatever, go ahead and buy now so that we can actually get you in a home. While interest rates are still fairly low, they have went up, but they haven't went up crazy. They are going to increase this year. Next year at this time, you may be paying a few $100s more than you were this year. So you want to get moving. You want to go ahead and get in the ball game and really plan to go ahead and buy. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is, a lot of people, if people look at houses that have been on the market for a very long time and they might be kind of ugly, like maybe they're just not kept up or something you don't like. There's renovation loans out there that can help you if you purchase one of those homes. Because, we know it's a very competitive market. If you purchase one of those homes that nobody else is making offers on, maybe you can make it into your dream home by using a renovation loan. Yeah,
that's a great point. Too many people look at deferred maintenance and they may not know about those programs, but those work kind of like construction to perm loans, right? You can take certain draws over certain time. The contractors are completely 100% vetted.
Yep. So what happens is we take the purchase price and whatever the improvements are. So let's say you got a $100,000 purchase price, you have $50,000 improvements. We base your down payment on $150,000. You can do it with FHA, you can do it with conventional loans, 3.5% down with FHA, 5% down. Now the appraisal has to meet the whatever your new sales price would be, but we end up doing draws for the improvements and things like that. It's a lot of people forget about it, and a lot of people haven't used it because of the competition of the homes not being available. But even if you're a seller that's thinking about listing and you don't want to do all the repairs and the deferred maintenance and things like that, and you get concerned with, I don't want to list because I have to do this or this and change it or something like that. Those people can also, benefit by, okay, let's sell it at a decent price and let the buyer get a renovation loan.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's lots of options out there as well. If somebody's thinking about selling, we've got options for you. We could do the full service listing. We could do a limited service. We can also offer cash. We've got investor partners that buy properties cash, close in 2 to 3 days. I mean, we can get deals done quickly. There's lots of options. And we're talking with DIANE VANCE, longtime friend of the program here, Fairway Independent Mortgage here on the show, DIANEVANCE.com. What other topics would you like to talk about? I know this morning you and I were talking offline about appraisal, potential issues with appraisals coming in. What else do you think would be topical for now?
Well, appraisals are done by third-party appraisers. Remember, the realtor's not an appraiser, although you do comparable sales, but also lenders are not. We always have third-party appraisers, and appraisals are opinions. And, that's exactly what they are. And most appraisers will typically, go ahead and try to work out, whatever they're appraising close to it if they can do it. But some appraisers, you got to have some good lenders and good appraisers that can actually appraise very well. And so I have certain appraisers that I'm very comfortable when it comes back and I see their name. So I know if for some reason somebody, let's say you know you're overpaying a property by $10,000 or something like that, okay, and the appraisal comes in $10,000 less, depending on your loan amount. We can always adjust the loan amount to still satisfy your sale and not make too much of a difference on your loan amount. So it depends on how much you're putting down. So if you're putting 20% down, we possibly could have you put 15% down. Or if you're putting, 10%, possibly 5% down, so that you're actually getting closer to where you wanted to be in your total out of pocket anyways. So there's a lot of things you can do as a buyer that if the appraiser, buyers know when they overpay, right? Typically. And, but that's some of the solutions for that.
Yeah, and the other on the seller side, sellers always want to maximize the exposure, maximize the profit. So the seller's thinking, hey, we're hearing all this news and write-ups and reading blogs and seeing social media posts about how hot the market is. So they're getting even more and more cocky to a certain extent, overconfident in some ways, and they're thinking, hey, I want to have an appraisal waiver contingency. So they'll want the buyer to agree to pay 10, 20, up to 30,000 or more over the appraised value. This way, if the appraisal does come in a little bit low, because sometimes condos or certain properties, it's just hard to find comparables, and maybe you have a uniqueness factor with a large balcony or it's a penthouse type of condo or something. So you'll have issues like that as well, DIANE. So you see those appraisal contingencies come into play.
Oh, yeah, and we see a lot of those. There's a lot of different things that we've never seen in the past. We've seen in the last year probably, kind of like the appraisal waivers and things like that, or the agreement that I will pay this much over. But you can't blame the seller because the seller's wanting to. They're listening to the media, right?
Yep.
And they want to get as much money as they can, and they know it's a competitive market, and so you got to think about that, and they feel like their property's worth it. And then we have an appraiser come in and maybe a little bit of reality there, but, it just depends. And sometimes appraisers, it's amazing to me that I can order 2 different appraisals, which you're not supposed to do, but sometimes we can do that. And they're actually pretty far apart.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually shocked at sometimes. I'm like, wait a minute, you should only be like within 5%. It should be very close to one another. It should not be, 20% difference.
Yep, and I've seen that. I've had that happen over the years with appraisals. I've taken over expired listings. The appraisal, they told me a horror story. Oh, well, the appraisal came in real low, and why? How would that be different with you? And I said, just trust me. We'll walk through this thing, and then you get multiple offers. It goes above my list price, which was higher than the previous appraised price. And then it comes in at value, no problem. And
right.
Then I've had the same thing. I've even talked with Dan Minikheim, Melissa Minikheim with Pro Health Pest Control about, one property, the termite inspector shows up. Oh yeah, we've got termites, and then the seller says, no, I don't have termites. They hired their own inspector, and lo and behold, he comes out and says, no, there's no evidence of wood destroying organisms, no termites. So it's interesting how you see that happen over the years with properties.
Yeah, and I'm very happy that we do not require termite reports except on VA loans because, trust me, we used to be involved right in that thick of those things, especially in Florida.
Yeah.
And, properties have termites in Florida all the time. It's not a big deal. And I always laugh when people, oh, my word, my property has termites. Okay, well, you just treat it. Okay. Again, it's a competitive market. So when I see people looking and losing offers and getting more offers, and then they finally get one accepted, and then something like a termite report, or even maybe it might need a new roof or something like that. I'm like, that can be fixed.
Yeah.
You have looked for properties for how many months, and you finally have one, and you need to again, the emotions come in, and so it's one of those things that you just really need to stay the course, and just if you find a property that you love, buy it. It doesn't matter if it needs repairs.
Right. That's right.
Yep, you can always get those done.
All right, reach out. We'd love to have you reach out to the program, reach out to the show, support the local economy, support DIANE, VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage, 813-917-1894. You're going to get an honest opinion on value, an honest opinion on the closing cost and the rate and everything right up front, DianeVance.com. You can find her online. And Fairway Independent Mortgage, reach out to the show, 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. DIANE, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got Michael Watkins. Now, this guy he's a stud. He's a wealth of knowledge in the worlds of 401ks. He's a published author. You're going to want to hear what he has to talk about. He's written a book called The 401k Revival. We're going to talk with him about this Bidenflation, I call it, the inflation and just how much troubles in the economy right now, stock market, what's happening, is there a bubble? We're going to get those questions answered from Michael Watkins, TampaBayAdvisory.com. Plus, coming up, our feel-good story of the day, Little Towns, Big Hearts. Polk Community turned steer auction into fundraiser for a family who lost son. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text. Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. We are excited to announce a new listing at 820 Pinellas Avenue, Tarpon Springs. A beautiful property, commercial property on a corner lot, walkability. You can walk to great restaurants close to the sponge docks there in Tarpon Springs. This is a commercial property that we just listed, 820 Pinellas Avenue in Tarpon Springs. Great opportunity to own real estate here in Tampa Bay. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. But highest and best use, I would say, is a commercial property converted to an office space. Looking for attorneys, engineers, title companies, real estate firms, insurance company. Could make this your home, make it a new office. Beautiful property. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we're going to the phone lines here. Michael Watkins, Principal, Tampa Bay Advisory. Welcome back to the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Hey, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. Michael, in your book, The 401k Revival, you talk about the importance of pre-planning for 401k investors. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So what I think most people understand, Brandon, that time plays a very critical role in wealth building. And, because the more time you have to compound, the more savings occur, right?
Correct.
And so I think that's why, 401k investors who are at or near retirement should consider instituting a downturn defense strategy. And the reason is pretty simple, Brandon. 401ks, their compounding opportunities can be disrupted by downside market movements. And we've seen this before. And the blink of an eye, a large portion of your retirement savings could vanish into thin air, leaving many people with few, if any, options. And so I guess my question would be, how would it feel if you really had no other choice than to, continue working well into your retirement years simply because a market crash robbed you of vital retirement income?
Right.
Now, this very thing happened to millions of people during the 2000 and 2008 market crashes, and it could happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something to think about, especially now when you're seeing, the military buildup along the Ukraine border, Russia, the lot going on in China, of course, ahead of the CCP Olympics. So what, when you think about that, you think about strategy too. It's a long-term strategy, right?
Yeah, it is. But, one of the most powerful planning techniques that 401k investors can use to their advantage, Brandon, can only be done at a certain age. And I know this sounds a little weird, but at age 59 and a half, you will become eligible to exercise an in-service rollover provision in your employer-sponsored plans while you're still working. And so what that means is these in-service transfers to an IRA give the investors the opportunity to protect their principal from market losses. And another major benefit to it as well, Brandon, is that they can continue to contribute to the 401k plans after the rollover. So this is not about taking your entire 401k account and rolling it. It's strategically, rolling things for certain things like asset-based long-term care protection and, Roth conversions to help minimize the tax bite in retirement. And some people are even using life insurance to hedge, those tax implications.
Let's take a quick break there, Michael. When we come back, that's our short segment. Come back more time on the flip side with Michael Watkins, 401k Revival author. 401k Revival. Talk about national debt, how that can affect as well with your retirement. How many trillions of dollars now are we passing along to our younger generations? Plus our feel-good story of the day coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Johnny, let me know when we can proceed. Johnny, you good? Alrighty, everyone, please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We love to help you win in any marketplace. And just in case you can't catch our show, we're live here at 4 o'clock drive time on 860 The Answer. We have our weekend show on FM 102.5 The Bone. But you can hear us also on Spotify. We have the podcast there on iTunes podcast as well, on iPhone devices, and of course YouTube channel as well. Lots of videos on YouTube, Brandon Rhymes Realty, and also the Consumer Quarterback Show on Spotify. So you can find us there as well. And we like to feature our real estate listings. We help our sellers profit more and sell faster by featuring the properties live on air on the show. And we've got a property here in Tampa Bay. It's 5602 Land O'Lakes Boulevard. And this is a great opportunity for builders, investors, developers for a high traffic area. It's on US 41 in Land O'Lakes. And I would think it's a great opportunity to put a boutique hotel or maybe an assisted living facility. This property is almost 7 acres, and it's on Lake Helen, waterfront frontage. You've got C2 general commercial zoning, so you've got your zoning there in place. Great opportunity. 5602 Land O'Lakes Boulevard, Land O'Lakes, Florida. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we got Michael Watkins in the house on the line here, investment advisor, representative, author also of the 401k Revival. Michael, we talk a lot about inflation today and just how we're, kind of leveraging our children's future, grandchildren's future, and the unprecedented amount of spending and how that's affecting folks' retirement account. But the other big issue is the $30 trillion of our national debt.
Yeah. So that's a very good point, Brandon, and I think everyone should be, very, very careful with their financial decisions, and I believe that most folks should plan for higher taxes in the future, or I should say the potential for higher taxes in the future, and some tax-exempt options or solutions for their income in retirement. And, it's simple logic and mathematics that, really tells us that $30 trillion and rising, that's a heavy lift to repay, and it's going to fall on the backs of the hardworking Americans like you and me. And I've mentioned this before, but this is a pretty staggering illustration. Most folks don't understand how much $1 trillion really is, but simply put, if you were to spend $1 million a day from the time that Jesus walked the earth till today, you would not have spent $1 trillion, but rather $738 billion. So that's a pretty profound example. But, really how you position your savings today is going to become, very beneficial to you many years from now when, like I said, potentially tax rates could be significantly higher. And on the other hand, if no meaningful tax strategy is formulated now, there could be substantially less income for you to retire on. So I believe in planning for unforeseen events like long-term care needs, inflation, and, like I said, potentially higher tax rates so that you can help smooth out the longest vacation of your life, your retirement, and reduce stresses in your life later on.
Yeah, it's such an important thing, and I want to repeat that too, because that's interesting, the way that you kind of put that into perspective for people. If you were to spend $1 million a day since Jesus first walked the earth, to today, that would be $738 billion, nowhere near $1 trillion. And I think so many times too, especially these despicable politicians in D.C. and it's both sides. It's the uniparty, whatever you want to call them. They're spending trillions of dollars leveraging our futures and putting us in jeopardy of losing the world currency, the United States dollar as the world currency. It's a very challenging time for people, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah, so let's talk about the surcharges. So you mentioned in the book also IRMAA surcharges on medical health coverages.
Yeah, that's the acronym for income-related monthly adjusted amount. And Irma is Uncle Sam's wife.
Okay.
So this is a backdoor run by the federal government. So the Medicare health coverage that we were all planning on in our retirement, they don't have money. They need money to shore this whole thing up. And so here's how they're going to do it. When you start receiving your Social Security benefits, you start paying for your Medicare at that time, right? Or when you elect for Medicare, rather at 65. And so some of the sources of your income are going to be triggers for them to increase your charges for your Medicare. And they are things like Social Security, wages, pension income. Here's one for your real estate investors. Rental income is going to hike that up.
Right.
Specific annuities, 401(3)Bs, and all that stuff. And so I really think it's important when people, go to roll their 401ks, that they really take a good look at what they're putting it into, because this could potentially trigger, a big, huge charge for them at a time in their life, Brandon, when they can at least afford it, because this is going to get worse.
Right.
The longer you live, the higher these charges are going to get. So I believe that, just doing a little bit of planning today opposed to walking blindly into retirement is going to be a big benefit to a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to plan. You got to plan now. You got to take action. Be that type of person that takes action when you hear a good idea and you hear an educated idea and strategy. We're talking with Michael Watkins, TampaBayAdvisory.com, and Principal Tampa Bay Advisory. It's 401k Revival is the book as well. Reach out to the hotline. We'd love to put you in touch with any of our expert contributors. Over 45 different expert contributors with the show, 80 different categories. And specifically for Michael, you could reach out. You could text the word 401k or text over to call the hotline, 813-917-1894. Just call or text that line. We'll put you in touch with Michael and his team or any of our other expert contributors, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors. We've got home services, technology experts, self-defense experts, and more. 813-917-1894. And Michael, thank you so much. We appreciate it. How can folks get a hold of your book?
Sure. Amazon or Barnes & Noble, the 401k Revival, or at my website, the 401krevival.com. And you can call me directly at 813-854-4400.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much. Appreciate that great content today.
Thanks, Brandon. Take care.
All right. Take a quick break. When we come back, feel good story of the day coming at you. I was involved in 4-H and FFA and, raised some hogs and steers. And this one's pretty cool out of Polk County right next to us here. Got a Little Towns, Big Hearts Polk community turned steer auction and a fundraiser for family who lost son. That's our feel goods. Plus, we got Greg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, here in studio. So we're going to talk about some contractor tips, things to do, things to avoid, and some consumer advocate advice right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you check out consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Looking for a venue to host your next business or family event? Make it Largo Event Center. The Consumer Quarterback Show has used the Largo Event Center, and the hall and service you get is fantastic. Over 8,500 square feet of meeting space, perfect for events, expos, and trade shows. Upstairs offers space for smaller meetings and groups to include use of their lounge and game room. Plenty of room outside for car shows or food truck events and concerts. Largo Event Center is just west of US 19 on 126th Avenue. For booking and details, visit largoeventcenter.com. That's largoeventcenter.com. Or call Guy at 727-776-3442.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Every day we like to tell you some positive news here on our Feel Good story.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this is Little Towns, Big Hearts, the Polk community. Polk community turned steer auction into fundraiser who lost son. So Todd Donnelly was his name. He's a senior at Haines City High School. He was a great kid. He had straight A's, baseball, football teams, and was heading to the University of Mississippi. But he was killed in a head-on car accident when a vehicle crossed the median, according to Florida State Troopers. And his family was in the car behind him. But what they did is they were in the process of raising steers. And his brother was, one that showed his steer, and the community really came together, pulled together, and Carl Lightsey, he's the owner of Lightsey Cattle Company, said as soon as he heard the news, he started making calls, and he got multiple people to add on to dollars per pound, or multiple dollars per pound for the steer auction. And Kelly Buick gave $10,000 immediately, and almost every person that they called was able to, add on to the weight. And the weight of the steer was 1,146 pounds. And it's going to be a big help to the family, and really feel good story of the day. How folks can come together, communities come together in times of need for that. So shout out and our thoughts and prayers to that family out in Polk County, Florida. And back here in studio, we got Greg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, longtime friend of the program. Welcome back.
Thanks, Brandon. It's great to be back.
Awesome, man. What's new in your world?
Running heat calls. It got cold this last weekend, so a lot of people turned that heat on. Haven't had it on in at least a year probably. So we've been out fixing those.
It's that time of year for sure. And I hear it's going to be getting cold here soon too. Another drop.
That's what it sounds like. Another cold weekend. So I think we'll stay busy again next week fixing those heaters.
Yeah, that's right. Consumer advocate tips. What are some of the things people can do, especially this time of year?
Well, something you wouldn't think about that's actually come to light with all the no heat calls we've been running. All that power draw has caused some power surges. We've seen a lot of no heat calls related to power surge damage. And here in Florida, we actually live in the lightning capital of the world. We have over 1.2 million lightning strikes per year, or to ground strikes. So even if it wasn't power, heating related in the summertime, we have those lightning strikes. So we often think about protecting our television. We got a $2,000 big screen TV. We'll put a surge protector on that, but most people don't think about protecting their air conditioner. even though that's really a bigger investment than that big screen TV. So that's our big tip right now is, make sure you have surge protection, protect that investment, keep that from, being damaged from something that's relatively inexpensive to prevent.
Yeah, that's a good one. Do newer homes have that in place, or is that something that you'd actually have to buy and add on?
Correct. Not typically. It's not typically added as part of a construction process. It's not code required. So, yeah, it would be like an add-on type thing. Now, a lot of them do have, in the new home situation, they'll put a whole house surge protector on the main panel, which will help protect from surges coming down the main lines.
Yep.
But if there's a local surge, it's not going to protect against that. So like if lightning strikes the ground outside, it's not going to protect your air conditioner, that whole house protection. Or if there's an internal surge, related to like the heater kicks on and it causes a power surge or fluctuation inside the house, it won't help with that. So definitely it's a good idea to have localized surge protection.
Yeah, and we're talking with Greg Bowman, AC Guy of Tampa Bay here, and website acguyoftampa.com. And we always talk about supporting the local economy, supporting these local area business owners that come in and, take time out of their busy schedule to come in and serve the community in a sense where we're providing consumer advocate content, advice, things to do, things to avoid. And there's a lot of bad contractors out there, Greg. Florida being a transient state, more and more people moving here. You hear the horror stories of people, putting down large deposits on jobs, getting taken advantage of, especially, we've heard with Chuck Peterson with Suncoast Roofing, how they can deal with in hurricane season and things like that. Give us some contractor tips, things to look out for.
Well, the same things happen in the air conditioning world. We see that same thing. We're actually kind of going through it right now and cleaning up after a contractor who 3 or 4 years ago named themselves after us, very close in name to us. So for a while, we were getting confusion between, people would call thinking we were them. The good side of the story for us is that they went out of business. So the bad side is they left a wreck of customers that we're now cleaning up. Who are, fortunately, we're getting, because of the name association, we're getting the brunt of those calls of people calling, and then we get to, to have the privilege of trying to help them and show them how a real contractor should take care of them.
Yeah.
But it happens all the time. Biggest recommendation I would have is check for references from friends and family. Reviews are okay, but they can be, swindled, manipulated a little bit. So, that's a good start. If they have bad reviews online, stay away, because if they don't even have those, manipulated, they're really bad. So, watch for that. But checking things like the Better Business Bureau for complaints, checking online reviews, but then asking friends and family for, referrals. That's where the biggest probably portion of our business comes from, is from referrals from people. So.
That's a good way to do it. And we do a lot of that with our real estate business. It's such a great opportunity to serve people. And then there's no bigger compliment than, there's two great compliments: and a great online review on, Zillow, Realtor.com, Google, whatever it is, Facebook. And then also them to say, hey, to their friend, I trust this person, give them a call, they're going to do you right.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we treat that as a great honor when somebody does refer us. So. Right,
absolutely. Yeah. Now, as a successful business owner, I want to talk a little bit about mindset. One of my favorite mentors who's really, I've been studying for 12 to 15 years was Tony Robbins. And I've got a clip here I'm going to play, and I want to get kind of your take on this, because a lot of business and leadership and just being, in general, it's a lot about mindset. So I want to play a quick clip and then get your thoughts on this. So Tony Robbins on expectations.
How do I persevere of letting go of the things I cannot control and react in a positive mindset?
Yeah, that's a great question. My answer is, first of all, realize the truth. Here's the truth. You're not in control, right? You're not God, right? You can influence the external world, but you don't control it. You can't even control your kids, let's be honest. So this idea of control is an illusion. What's real is influence. And influence requires skill. And the first skill you got to learn is to influence yourself. So to be able to change how I think or how I feel in a moment when I don't feel so good is the most important lesson of all. That's why I do this stuff in immersion, because I can explain it to you in a few minutes, right? Like, oh, that makes sense. I need to change my physiology, change my focus, change my language. But what you really need to do is experience doing that day in and day out until all of a sudden it's like anything else you've mastered. It'll just happen. And that's when your life changes. So whether you do it by spending more time with me or not, you can still do it within yourself. But you got to start with, many times we're in pain. We have frustration or overwhelm or sadness or stress because of our expectations. Because if you want to be upset, have lots of expectations of other people, of yourself, of life. So I'm not saying don't expect anything, because we can't do that as humans, but you gotta to notice that expectations lead to suffering. What you need instead is to focus on appreciating what you have and then figuring out how to expand it.
Yeah, so that's, kind of right on point, right? So as a business owner, he talks about illusion of control, right? So how much do you really have control of your day when you have other companies, in your example you just gave, creating bad momentum, let's just call it, with other clients, and they're making a name close to yours, so the confusion factor comes in. So how important is, the mindset and that aspect, kind of what Tony was talking about there?
Yeah, that's definitely very, very important. Interesting you bring that up. Our business, I think, kind of transformed itself maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I read a book called The Prosperity Mindset, and it's all about what you're thinking about and how much influence that has on what our outcome is in life,
right?
Success, everything.
Yeah.
It all comes down to how we think about things, because we make decisions every day in a split second about something based on our mindset. So if we're not controlling that mindset, we can make the wrong decisions all over and over again.
That's right.
So yeah, definitely, it's huge to be successful in life and business and anything, is to be mindful about what your mindset is and what you're thinking about.
Yeah, because what your thoughts are going to lead to what you say, and then your words are going to lead to your actions. Your actions are going to lead to your results. It's going to lead to your reputation.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's very easy to fall into that trap. You have a bad day and you let your mindset go sideways, and then all of a sudden you're making decisions based on your feelings of the moment, rather than thinking about the right things and doing it the right way. So definitely very key.
And then the other thing the point he was making is expectations too. Sometimes we have too high of expectations, maybe when it comes time to that New Year's resolution goal setting type thing, because I think a lot of times people overestimate what they can do in a year. I'm going to have these big goals and I'm going to do it in a year, and then they let themselves down, and they significantly underestimate what they can do in 5 years or 10 years with steady, progressive action, making those movements every day, small things, right? If you can be better than you were the day before, you're going to look back 5-10 years. I look back 10 years ago, we didn't even have a show. We just started maybe a show about 9 years ago, right? So now we got this show, we've got a great network, and we've got all these great clients and folks that we're associated with. So it's baby steps. You can't do it all at once. So trade your expectations for appreciation, and then it all changes in the instant.
Definitely, I would definitely echo that.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're appreciative of what you have, appreciation, gratitude, that type of thing. There's a lot to be said for that. So as a business owner, we both deal with that kind of stuff every day.
Right. Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely very important, to just be cognizant of not letting, stinking thinking get in there and set you off course.
That's right. That's the old Jim Rohn throwback, isn't it? I think Jim Rohn had coined that back in the day. So we're talking with Greg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. You can find him online. He's got a great team. He's got family involved too. Your daughter's been on the show, and you got a great staff over there and doing a great job for people.
Yeah, definitely. We appreciate it. We're definitely very family focused, and actually we try and that's part of our mission statement in treating our clients. We try and treat them as though they are family, and how we would treat our own families.
Absolutely. And a quick no-brainer as well, as we're kind of winding down this last couple minutes, you have a package where folks can sign up. It's a maintenance package. I think it's a very nominal number. Folks can have that in place. I know we do it with our home every 6 months. Get the checkup. Make sure you're taking care of your system that takes care of you every day.
Exactly. Yeah, it's what we call our VIP program, but it's basically designed to be us, set it up and then forget about it, and we take care of it for you. Your air conditioner works really hard in the state of Florida. We run them 3,000 hours a year. That's like driving a car 75,000 miles.
Wow.
So giving it a little bit of love, a little bit of maintenance over that year is very important. The really cool thing about it is we've found that by doing continued maintenance, you reduce your energy costs. So really the program is free if you want to think about it. You're already paying the power company in higher energy bills if you're not maintaining your system. So maintaining your system will lower your power bills, which will offset the cost of the program, which is $15 a month for a system.
Wow.
You know, $180 a year to give your air conditioner a little bit of love and keep it from, you know, giving you any trouble when it gets hot.
Yeah, real
cold.
No-brainer there. Sign up,
Really, yeah.
you know, and you get put on the preferred client list too. You get all those
Correct,
reduced
yeah.
fees and stuff
Yeah,
as well.
we have a reduced service call fee, discounts on any, 20% discount on any other repairs if anything becomes necessary. So yeah, we kind of try and make it as attractive as possible to help you get your air conditioner taken care of.
Awesome. Good stuff. Reach out to the hotline. We'd love to put you in touch with Greg and his team. 813-917-1894. Call or text 917-1894. I want to thank all of our expert contributors, our producers, all the folks who take time to call into the show and reach out through the website, consumerqb.com. We greatly appreciate your support in the program. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.